What's up, fam? I know it's been a minute. I was supposed to make this review a few months ago when I actually had these tires fitted to the car. But as those of you know who've lived over here in Germany, the weather is not kind to us during this time of year, especially the winter and the spring. And even today, it wasn't supposed to rain and it's drizzling right now. But I held off on the tire review, not solely because of the weather, but I wanted to give you a comprehensive review of the tires after I had driven them in both the wintertime and the springtime during rain, dry, everything, and I've done that now. So I feel I can give a fair review of the Delinte D7 tire as a street performance tire on an Alfa Romeo Giulia. Now, as you guys know, this is a Q4 Veloce. It's all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive biased. Sedan weighs about 3,300 pounds. It's a fun car. It's a 2018 model, this one specifically. I love this car. It's great. And I've had PS91, the Kumos on here, and I've had the Michelin, the PS4S on here as well when I had it in the United States. So those are some pretty high benchmark tires to compare these tires to. Just for reference, the Michelin PS4S tires cost over $1,200 for all four in this specific size, which is 245, 35, 19. These Delinte D7s cost me under $300. I know, insane. Shipped to my door here in Germany. Absolutely, or the post office technically, not to my door, but absolutely insane for the same size tire and for what they claim it can do and it should do. That's a very, very good deal. I think they actually cost me $287 US shipped here. And so far, I will say I'm very impressed. I'm very pleased with these tires, like a lot. Granted, they're not track day tires. Granted, they're not tires to take to the drag strip. But for everything else, spirited driving, road trips, back and forth to work, absolutely magnificent tire for the money. Remember, everything is about the budget, right? Usually, I would never put a $300 set of tires on my car. However, I did a lot of research on the Delintes. I asked around and I pulled the trigger because I said, why not? Just take a gamble. And it worked out well. So let's go ahead, hop in the car, and let's talk more about why these tires, I think, are probably the best bang for bucket street performance tire that you can buy. So first things first, if I have the specs right, Delinte rates this tire at 420 tread wear and says that it is good for all seasons, all year round, to include some light snow, even though it's not recommended. And I can confirm that these tires can handle even more than just light snow. Would I recommend them for, if you know that your area is going to be inundated with snow for a quarter of the year, would I recommend these tires? No, these are not snow tires. However, if you have these tires on and it begins to snow, you get caught in a snow flurry, you got maybe an inch or two of snow in your driveway, in your neighborhood and on your commute to work, your day will not be ruined because of these tires. You will be able to get where you're going just fine in the snow, trust me. They do really well in the wet. They do really, really well. Inspire a lot of confidence. They've got pretty sizable rain sipes that channel away a lot of the water. I'll be honest with you, these tires do just as good as the big name brand tires I've had on this car. When we talk about just everyday normal driving conditions, like I've mentioned before, I'm not going to take these on the track. You know, I might do a lap or two at the Nürburgring, just a touring lap, but this is not a dedicated track day tire. This is not anything like that. This is a sporty street tire, a sporty touring tire that's very friendly on your budget. Now let's talk about ride quality. Very smooth, can't complain at all. When it was colder outside, they were harder. Admittedly, they were a rougher ride, but I mean, that's kind of to be expected from a tire that's meant for the summertime and the warmer time. Delinte says don't drive these tires consistently under 45 degrees of temperature, and I was definitely well under that, so I can't take that away from Delinte, you know. However, as it has warmed up, and it's not that much warmer today, it's like 50 degrees, these tires are very compliant, very soft, not a lot of road noise, more road noise than you would have from a Michelin, sure, or a Kumo, you know, or a Pirelli. However, once again, these tires were $300 to my door. Those would be over $1,000 to my door. So, huge bang for budget, but very, very comfortable tire. I've done a road trip on these now, all the way to Paris and back, all over, you know, southeastern Germany. I'm driving them right now. I drive them to work almost every day. From the comfort position, these tires are great. Now let's talk about probably the most important aspect of a tire's quality, in my opinion, which is the handling performance of the tire. I have a mixed review here. Does this have the outright grip and confidence-inspiring handling of a Michelin PS4S? No, it doesn't. However, these tires are very, very, very capable and multi-dimensional too. What I mean by that is I'm back here on what is essentially kind of a country road / B road, and I'm in race mode. I'm getting it a little bit, and these tires are keeping up very, very well for a 420 treadwear tire. You would not think that this tire is a 420 treadwear tire. You would think that this is about 320 treadwear. I have nothing but confidence. Granted, I've gained that confidence from driving this tire. When I first got on these tires, I wasn't so confident. I came from Pirellis, so they didn't have the turn-in response. They didn't have the steering response of the Pirellis. So I kind of had to learn this tire. But now that I know it, this tire is awesome. The Delinte D7s are really, really good in the back roads. Like I said, don't get on them hard. They're not a really sticky tire. However, if you are worried about, you know, will this tire keep up if you want to have some fun in the twisties, don't be, because it absolutely will. And right now, I'm kind of taking it easy because the roads are still kind of wet, you know, and I don't want to do anything foolish. And these tires are, they're stuck, they're hooking. I don't feel any sort of wishy-washiness. I don't feel any sort of neutrality in the steering. Like, I know exactly where the car is. I can place the car wherever I want it to. Once again, it has limits, right? This is not a race tire. This is not a 200 treadwear tire, but it is a very, very good, very responsive tire. So let's talk about my last point with these tires in my review of the Delinte D7, which is going to be price per performance. So let's say that budget is no option, right? And you're fully prepared, willing, and able to spend $1,200 to put some brand new Michelin PS4S or PS5S on your car. why would you even entertain at all a tire like the Delinte D7? Well, let me tell you why. Let's be honest, for the majority of us, we will never see the true potential that a Michelin Pilot Sport tire can deliver. The majority of us are not going to take these cars, even a car as amazingly equipped as a Giulia, we're not going to take these cars, you know, onto the racetrack. The majority of the driving that we're going to do is going to be to and from work, to and from the grocery store, out with the family, road trips. My point is that when I had Michelins on my car, most of the time I was not driving the car at 10 tenths or 9 tenths or even 7 or 8 tenths. I was just driving around. And as a result, all of that tire kind of went to waste. And I felt at the end of the day that I didn't get my money's worth out of that tire. Was it a capable tire? Sure, but it wore down too quickly. I've had these Delintes on my car now probably for about 4 months, and they have not worn at all. They have barely worn. And I'm talking about, I've had these I've been driving these in, you know, 20, 30, 40 degree weather consistently, day after day. You know, like I said, I've done multiple road trips across, you know, Western Europe. And to include driving the way I have been in this video, you know, consistently. And they have shown almost no wear to the tire at all. So longevity is huge. And if you can buy a tire that looks good, feels good, sounds good, and handles well for a quarter of the price of a Michelin or a big brand name tire that's going to perform 90% of the way for 90% of the time, then why not? And that's why, unless I buy a dedicated set of tires for a specific purpose for going to the racetrack, I'll probably stay with these tires on this car and just keep buying new ones for the foreseeable future, as long as the price, you know, matches up and makes sense. These are just that good of a tire. I recently rotated these tires all around the car. Well, I won't, not all around the car. They are rotational, so you can't do side-to-side rotations, but you can do back to front. So I recently rotated them back to front, and I rolled the tire to see if it was, you know, wearing evenly. No uneven wear, no bulges in the tire. My last set of Pirellis had a bulge in the tire like 5,000 miles in. And those tires were 4 times the amount that these tires were. So it goes to show you that it's not always about the name brand of the tire. Sometimes it's about the thought, the R&D, and the development that went into it and how you use the tire. So anyway, I hope that this review was helpful. If you have an Alfa Romeo Giulia or a sports sedan that's kind of like a Giulia, Porsche Panamera, Audi, you know, A3 all the way to A7, Mercedes, C300, C43, whatever, and you want a tire that's going to look good, it's going to sound good, feel good, perform well, 90% of the time, and 90% of the things that you do in that car, then seriously, give the Delinte D7 a look. I'm not sponsored or paid by Delinte. They don't even know I exist, but I've been nothing but pleased with these tires. And, you know, will I buy them again? The answer is yes. I absolutely will.